Hello everyone, I'm meteorologist Charlie Ironmonger. Thank you so much for joining me today for your 1 p.m. news and weather update from the First Alert Desk. Now we've got news out of Washington in Beaufort County where a labor company is now being accused of trafficking Mexican farm workers into forced labor and keeping them in the U.S. after their visas expired. Now the Department of Justice says a federal grand jury has indicted Martha Jose Munoz, and her son Jeremy Jose. The feds claim that Jose owns La Princesas, a farm labor contracting company based in Washington. They say between August of 2021 and July of 2022, Jose submitted fake applications to the Department of Labor and the U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services that falsely claimed her company would comply with all required employment conditions and labor laws. Those included promises not to charge workers recruitment fees, not to confiscate their documents, and provide proper wages, meals, housing, and transportation. Instead, federal authorities say the company charged workers significant fees to come to the U.S., confiscated their passports to prevent them from leaving, required them to perform physically demanding labor until degrading conditions, housed them in crowded, unsanitary places that lacked heat, air conditioning, hot water, and bedding, and failed to pay required wages, withheld food, and denied them medical care. The three are charged with forced labor, conspiracy to commit forced labor, alien harboring for financial gain, conspiracy to commit alien harboring for financial gain, and document servitude offenses. And now we want to turn our attention to the massive drug kingpin killing that happened in Mexico over the weekend. NBC's George Salas has more.
This morning, widespread violence at a major tourist destination, leaving chaos at hotels and airports and some Americans stranded. In Puerto Vallarta, one of the country's most popular resort cities, cartel members burning down buildings and setting cars on fire. The unrest unfolding after the Mexican government said it killed the leader of one of the most powerful drug cartels in the country during a military operation. Mexican authorities say Nemesio Ruben Osuguera Cervantes, nicknamed El Mencho, was the kingpin of the violent Jalisco New Generation cartel. The U.S. State Department previously offering $15 million for his capture. In a statement to NBC News, the White House confirming the United States provided intelligence support to the Mexican government in order to assist the operation that killed El Mencho. Across nearly a dozen Mexican states, plumes of black smoke could be seen for miles, with cars and buses set on fire. The U.S. Embassy in Mexico urging U.S. citizens to shelter in place amid ongoing security operations that include flights to the region being canceled. With sirens blaring at Guadalajara International Airport, some panicked travelers trying to hide while others fled on foot.
We saw the taxi cabs all blown up and blocking the streets and people running down them towards us.
American Jim Beck is sheltering in place at his hotel in Puerto Vallarta, which he's visited for many years.
After this morning, it was the first time we actually felt fear.
You have a few days before you're scheduled to depart. Is there a concern that that may not happen?
We're a little bit scared because that's 2 days away that we're supposed to be flying out in the morning, and I just don't know if they're going to have everything opened by then.
Scary situation there in Mexico. Thank you, George Salas, for that report. We now turn to your weather forecast. We are receiving reports of heavy snowfall across the northeastern United States. Areas around New York and New England, again, seeing some heavy snowfall. There you can see that area of low pressure spinning off the coast, flinging, again, lots of snow into really areas between the Delmarva Peninsula, extending all the way up towards Maine and into Nova Scotia. It is a massive system that actually gave us rain over the weekend. We had this system again move off of our coast yesterday, and well, overnight last night and into this morning, it has developed into a much stronger nor'easter that is producing quite a bit of snow again for the New England area. For us here in eastern North Carolina, though, we are still experiencing some impacts from that system. A few light showers right now coming down across parts of Bertie and even Washington and Martin counties. Not a ton of rain currently, but certainly still seeing maybe a few splash and dash showers. For the rest of eastern North Carolina, most of us are seeing mostly sunny skies, but cold temperatures. Winds out of the west-northwest, again, tied to that area of low pressure, tied to that nor'easter that is pushing in that colder air. And we'll keep our air temperatures capped in the mid-40s for today as well as tomorrow. Right now, 42 degrees feels like 35 in New Bern along the Neuse River, thanks to a west-northwesterly breeze at 15 miles an hour. Most of us are seeing air temperatures between around 40 to 45 degrees. The lone spot on the map that is a little bit outside of that range is Roanoke Rapids, currently coming in at 39 degrees. So close to 40, but northwesterly winds consistent from the Virginia line all the way down to the Crystal Coast and everywhere in between. Now, sustained winds right now generally blowing in at around 10 to 20 miles per hour. Wind gusts, those are upwards around 25 to around 35 miles an hour. In fact, we've got a 37 mile per hour gust in Elizabeth City, 29 in Englehart, 24 in Kinston, as well as Washington, 31 in Piney Island. So winds are going to be breezy for the rest of today, especially through the afternoon. Do want to say hello to Terry. Thank you so much for joining me over on Facebook. As far as the afternoon goes, again, cloud cover will gradually build over the east. Air temps in the mid-40s will stay in the mid-40s. We've got maybe another degree or two more of a warm-up planned for today before everything just starts to level off a bit. Later on this evening, the cloud cover that will be present with us will help keep our air temperatures from getting too cold, but we will still end up below freezing early tomorrow morning, likely getting into the upper 20s overnight tonight into your Tuesday morning. We'll be back above freezing for most areas by the time we reach around 9 a.m. And then from there, as we head into tomorrow afternoon, we are looking at a very similar temperature profile to what we're seeing today, and that is air temps ending up in the mid-40s. Now, winds tomorrow not going to be quite as extensive and as strong as what we're seeing today, but there will still be, again, coming out of the west-northwest. There you can see moisture trying to flow its way across the east late tonight into the early hours of tomorrow morning. But by the time many of us wake up, we're looking at dry conditions and sunny skies for the majority of your Tuesday. Now, cloud cover will be building back over the east later on Tuesday evening into Tuesday night, and that'll eventually lead to some raindrops rolling in. A few raindrops on Wednesday, more raindrops on the way coming up for both Thursday and Friday. So if you're wondering, okay, what do I've got to look forward to this week? Well, air temperatures will warm up as we head into Wednesday and Thursday. Here's Wednesday at 9 a.m. The frontal boundary still further back towards the west over the mountains, but again, approaching eastern North Carolina. It will eventually leave us with about a 40% chance of rain coming up for really Thursday and Friday, but we may end up seeing those rain chances increase a little bit more as we get closer to them. 20% chance of rain, though, on Wednesday. We are looking again at a cold start coming up for tomorrow and the windy conditions holding out of the northwest. By the time we reach this weekend, we'll be drying out and warming up, getting back into the mid to upper 60s on both Saturday as well as Sunday. That's all we have time for today's 1 p.m. news and weather update from the First Alert Desk. I want to thank you all so much for joining me. We'll be back with more news and weather coming up at the top of the hour. Until then, have a fantastic rest of your Monday.